message tonight I took from Matthew chapter 19, verses 16. Jesus had just finished blessing the children, withholding the children and teaching them. It says, "Now a man came up to Jesus and asked, 'Teacher, what good things must I do to get eternal life?' 'Why do you ask me about what is good?' Jesus replied. 'There is only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments.' 'Which ones?' the man inquired. Jesus replied, 'Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony. Honor your father and mother, and love your neighbors as yourself.' 'All these things I have kept,' the young man said. What do I still lack?' Jesus answered, 'If you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven. Then come follow me.' When the young man heard this, he went away sad, because he had great wealth." The Bible doesn't talk much about this young man. The story can be found in Matthew and in Mark and in Luke. And all three of the stories are pretty much the same. There's very little that changes in it. The only thing we really know is this was a young man and he was rich. Now we don't know if maybe his father died and he inherited all the money, whether he was a young king, or whether he was just a young man that was a hard worker, earned all this money, learned how to keep it, learned how to save it, and got all of these possessions. So we can't condemn the man on what he has. But he came to Jesus and he did call him good. And Jesus reminded him that only God is good. So maybe we use the word good too often. You know, we say a lot of things are good. And maybe we just overuse this. But God told him, or Jesus told the young man, he said, what you need to do is obey the commandments. And he only named 4 of them. He didn't go through all the 10 commandments. And then he added, love your neighbor as yourself, which we find in the Bible as the great commandment. And the boy said, or the young man, you know, I've done this all my life. So Jesus didn't tell him he was lying, so apparently he did obey the commandments. He did do the basic things that he had to do. But the one main thing he had was money meant everything to him. And Jesus knew this, so he told him that he would have to sell everything he had and give to the poor. Now, he's not telling us that we need to sell everything and give to the poor. But what are we doing, or what do we have that we're looking at, that we're holding on to, that is taking the place of God? You know, what small thing or what large thing could we be doing? If we were to ask Jesus, what do I need to get into heaven? I mean, this young man must have been, we classify today as a religious person, because he knew there was a heaven, or at least he knew there was a life after death. So he was looking forward to do that, and he wanted to make sure that he was getting there. He probably was doing everything right in our standard as to what you need to do. But when he found out this, when Jesus told him this, and if you read in Luke, when the young man asked Jesus, it said Jesus looked at him lovingly. And if somebody comes to you and asks for advice, and you're going to give them advice, do you give it lovingly? I mean, you know, we're quick to give advice to people, but if they need the advice, are we willing to give it to them lovingly and make sure that it's from the heart that we're telling them what they need to do or what changes they need. I mean, or do we do it the opposite way and just want to kind of put them down and show that they're not too bright, or they're not paying much attention, or we're better than they are, you know. But I think the main thing we have to get out of this is, what are we doing? You know, when we come to church, we're coming to worship. Okay, are you really coming to worship, or are you coming because there's nothing else to do on Sunday, or you always came on Sunday, so you want to come? We have different projects that go on here at the church. We have the backpacks, we have quite a few that go and work at a food bank. Are we doing this just because everybody else is doing it? Are we doing it, or are we really doing it because we want to serve God? I mean, is this our main purpose and why we're doing it? If that isn't our main purpose, then we're really wasting our time, I believe, in doing it. I mean, we have to be doing it because we want to serve God. We feel that this is what He's asking us to do. So I think we all need to go to Jesus and ask Him, what must I do? You know, what am I doing wrong? What's holding me back? What means more to me than coming and worshiping?